All right, guys, welcome back to the Patreon requests, and our first one today comes from Tom Hibbert, who asked me to do a hero-villain mashup between Spider-Man 2099 and Blight. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link in the description box below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the third tier. Yeah, I can count. Hit the third tier. That'll allow you access to do so, as well as check out all the other stuff on the other tiers as well. But anyway, let's get started with the video. So for those who don't know what Hero Villain Mashup is, Hero Villain Mashup isn't really a fight video. It's more of talking about, like, what would it be like if this villain was in this hero's rogues gallery? And we've always talked about, like, Spider-Man 2099 and Batman Beyond, and now that we exist in a world where that can actually happen now again, well, happen for the first time, I should say. I mean, when I say happen again, I mean, like, Marvel DC crossovers happening again. So I guarantee you that, like, that is on the table. I guarantee you Spider-Man 2099 and Batman Beyond, that's on the table. I'm pretty goddamn sure that's on the table. It's not, if it nothing else, one of these backup stories they might do again for the next crossover. Anyway, so let's get started. But yeah, so Blight is the what I guess you could call Blight Terry's arch nemesis. That's really what he is he's the man who killed his father. He was a persistent villain when he was Derek Powers, and then got superpowers. And honestly, yeah, you could easily, much like with Spider-Man 2099, Batman and Spider-Man, you could just flip Terry and Miguel's rogues gallery, and it would not change. Much like how you could say you could flip Peter and Bruce's enemies, and it would not change much. Anyway, so what would it be like if if Derek Powers, Blight, was one of Miguel's enemies? Personally, I think it would be kind of fascinating to see, because if Derek Powers existed in that universe and had any control over, like, a Wayne Enterprises there, he would actually be a threat to Alchemax. And I would say, like, this would be the point where Miguel is the head of Alchemax, and I could easily see, like, a attempted corporate takeover of Alchemax from Wayne Enterprises and any other kind of means necessary. So not only would Powers and Derek and Miguel would be at war with each other on the streets, they'd also be at war with each other in the boardroom. And Miguel isn't exactly, like, corporate savvy, as we saw in the Peter David books. He's clearly a dude who's just trying to control Alchemax just for the sake of, I just don't want to, like, as long as I have control over it, it's fine. Like, everything's fine. So that's what I think is the whole. That's what I think is going on here. Now, once we get Blight involved into this whole situation, that's a different story. Blight isn't like Derek Powers is still incredibly powerful, and his very radiation could almost eat through Terry's suit at some point. So I could easily see that with if he encountered Miguel, the radiation he's just outpouring from his body is going to, like, damage Miguel's suit. Even though, yes, it has been said to be radiation proof, the problem with that is that it could easily just it could still, like, eat through it. Like, even Terry thought his suit was radiation proof, but yeah, Miguel's gonna have that same problem. And the same thing is that, unlike Terry, Miguel is more of a, he's not much of a planner. Yes, Terry does have Bruce talking in his ear, and Miguel has his own little AI to talk to him. But the thing is, Miguel just kind of does things Miguel O'Hara's way, which is, I'm just going to bullhorn my way through things and, stop hitting it till it stops moving. That's going to be a little hard to do when your opponent, when your enemy is not only like a walking, hazmat, hazard material, but he's also incredibly fucking intelligent, and he can shoot those radioactive beams at you tenfold. So Blight is probably going to try to bait Miguel several times. I could even see him, like, again, you really have to put in also to perspective that Blight is probably going to, like, do everything in his power to damage Alchemax to the point where he could just buy it out, or even take Alchemax and become the new CEO out from under him. And I could see that happening too, where Miguel, because Miguel doesn't give a shit about running the company, and the board of directors are probably going to be like, yeah, we're going to oust him and get this Derek Powers guy. So I could see that happening too. There's a lot in here that could happen. Again, Blight, he's intelligent, he's cunning, and like I said, he's just a walking pile of radiation that could just kill you without, not even in like a 30-foot radius of him. And Miguel isn't like a cunning warrior. He's more like he depends on power than anything else. So, whereas Terry is more like, I'm going to fight, smart and, exploit weaknesses, and maybe even like get him off his game by like cracking jokes every so often. Here, that's a different story, where Miguel is just going to be like, shut your mouth and all that, and it's actually going to be Blight who's probably going to be mocking Miguel to the point of like getting him so angry that he's just going to lose focus. It's the exact opposite here. So Blight would be just the more you think about it, would be an absolutely dangerous threat to Miguel. Not just on a superhero level, like, capes and tights shit, but also on the boardroom kind of level, the corporate level. But that's just my thoughts. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think it would be like if Blight was one of Spider-Man 2099's villains? Just comment below, let me know. Once again, I'd like to thank Tom Hibbert for this Patreon request, as well as continued patronage. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.